This is good. And then, notice it says, he prayed and he was entreated. Who's the first he there? That's the Lord God. He was entreated of him. Do you know why he was entreated of him? Because Manasseh didn't come to him and say, looky here, this is what you're going to do for me. He said, oh God, I deserve every bit of this. I deserve this hole in my jaw. I deserve to be in Babylon in chains. I deserve every bit of it. Oh God, have mercy on me, a sinner. That's what he said. That's the humbling he did. And so God said, yeah, I'll hear you now. I'll hear you now. I'll listen to whatever it is you have to say now, Manasseh, because you finally get it right. Finally you understand. Finally you know. And he was entreated of him. And God heard his prayer. Notice that in verse 12. God heard, or 13, God heard his prayer, his supplication. And he brought him again to Jerusalem into his kingdom. Just like the Assyrians carried him off into Babylon, now the Lord God just brings him right back. You know why? Because he can. He can and he wanted to. Because this man humbled himself before the Lord. And God said, no, I'll hear your prayer now. You should have prayed before, but I'll hear your prayer now. You should have cried out before, but I'll hear your prayer now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is never too late. Unless you're not breathing. And then it's too late. But as long as you have breath in this life, it is never too late to pray. Ever. And I don't care how dark, I don't care how dank and damp and demonic your silly little heart is. You're not so bad as this man right here. You're not so lost as this man right here. And I want to tell you something. If you just get on your knees and cry out to God, and don't go to him with some kind of plan. You just go to him and say, I am a sinner, have mercy on me. If you'll go to him in that way, ladies and gentlemen, he'll say, hey, I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting to hear you call to me. Come on in, let's talk. He'll hear your prayer, and he will do exactly for you what he did to this man. He brought him again. He brought him again. And why did he bring him back to Jerusalem? Well, number one, Manasseh now has a testimony. Look there at verse 13, the very last phrase there in 13. It says, then Manasseh knew that the Lord, he was God. And I'm sure he came walking back into that city and he said, boys, there's going to be a change. And he did. He made a change. Notice verse 14. It says, after this he built a wall without the city of David. He was doing what kings are supposed to do. Suddenly there's a change in this man. He's not worried about worshiping demons. He's not worried about building altars. He's not worried about building a silly idol and putting it in the temple. He's not worried about observing times and serving all the hosts of heaven. He's worried about his people. That's what happens when you get born again. Things change. The order of things change, and you get right. Not only with God, but with the people around you. And suddenly he walks into Jerusalem and he says, this place is falling to pieces. We got to fix it up. We got to get ready because there's war coming. And he builds this wall all the way around. And you can see that wall. Today, there's a place in the old city where they have a portion of Manasseh's wall revealed. It's still there. Pieces of it. And it tells you about the wall, where it is, exactly where he built it. The west side of Gihon in the valley, even to the entering the fish gate, and past the Ophel, raised it up to a very great height. And not only the wall in Jerusalem, but he put captains of war in all the fenced cities. He's doing exactly what a king's supposed to do. But that's not the only thing. See, these are the actions of a born-again man now. That's not all. He goes back and he says, let's change some things. In verse 15, he took away the strange gods. Yeah. And there were some strange ones that he was worshiping. And the idol that he had made, he took it out of the house of the Lord. And all the altars that he had built in the mount of the house of the Lord and in Jerusalem, and cast them out of the city. But he's not done yet. Verse 16. And he repaired the altar of the Lord, and he sacrificed thereon peace offerings and thank offerings. And commanded Judah to do the same. So he reverses completely all that he did. He tears down the altars, pulls out the idol, and he goes to Judah and Jerusalem, and he says, we need to get this right. This is my testimony. He saved me. Judah and Israel, he can save you too. And he commanded them to serve the Lord God of Israel. Wow. Now you see why Manasseh is in the list. You see, this is Christmas change right here. This is the greatest gift, the gift of salvation, the thing that only Jesus Christ can do. Happened in the life of Manasseh when he humbled himself before the Lord, and it can happen for you as well. It can happen for you as well. He took away the strange gods, the idols, the altars, cast them out of the city, and he repaired the altar of the Lord. And I don't know, maybe that's the message right there. For some of us and some of our hearts today, we need to repair the altar of the Lord and throw out the idols that we're worshiping. Whether it's the host of heaven or something else, we need to get rid of it and serve the Lord only. Christmas time is the time of the great gift. Manasseh received that great gift and humbled himself greatly before the God of his fathers. How about you?
Jesus will meet you.
Thanks for listening to this week's message. Please join us again next time for another installment of the Creek Road Baptist Pulpit.